Let's look at solving simple linear equations. We've actually already done some of these, but we're gonna do a little bit more. In previous math classes, you solved very simple linear equations. A linear equation is an equation where the variable is raised to the first power only. And in a simple linear equation, you're gonna have a variable term on one side, and it's gonna equal a number on the other side. Solving the simple linear equation just involves dividing both sides of the number by the coefficient or that number in front of the variable. So let's try some problems that solve each of the following for x, round to the hundredths place this time if we need to. So we have 35x equals 7. So I'm going to divide both sides by 35 because 35 is the coefficient in front of the x. Notice it's just a number that's attached to the x, so it's called the coefficient. So divide both sides by 35, you're going to get x is equal to 0.2. You can write it as a fraction if you want, but I prefer them as decimals. Now let's do 14x is equal to 7.35. Again, I'm going to divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which in this case happens to be 14, because it's a number attached to the x. Then all I can do is find out what 7.35 divided by 14 is. And we get that x is equal to 0.525. That actually number is a terminating decimal, so we don't have to worry about keep going with that. It actually nicely terminates and we're good. All right. Okay, the next one is 1/4 x is equal to 16. But the problem with this is that really what we've done in all of these is we didn't really divide, we actually multiplied both sides by the reciprocal of the number. So we multiplied both sides by the reciprocal of 14, which is 1/14 on both sides. So that's what I want you to think about here. I have 1/4 x equals 16. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of 1/4. The reciprocal of 1/4 is 4/1 or 4. And whatever you do to one side, you make sure you do to the other. So the 4 and the 1/4, if you notice, will cancel out. We just get x. And 4 times 16 is 64. Let's do 22 is equal to 2/9 x. In that case, again, I want to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of the fraction sitting in front of the x, because that's its coefficient. So in this case, the coefficient is 2/9, which means I'm going to multiply by 9/2 both sides. So the 9/2 cancels the 2/9, so you're just going to get x on the right-hand side of the equation. 9/2 times 22. You can take out a calculator and do this way, but you can also just see that 2 goes into 22 11 times, and 11 times 9 is 99. All right, so let's do a little bit more. Let's actually set up these. We were given the equation. Let's actually do some where we have to set up the equation. We determine the missing number in each of the following, and then we're going to round it to 2 decimal places. So again, what you want to think about doing is taking this application and try to figure out how to write it in a mathematical way. So we have 23% of what number is 324. 23%, let's write this as a decimal. So that's 0.23. Of means multiplication. What number, that's my unknown, I'm going to call it n, is means equals. Now we have 0.23 times n is equal to 324. Divide both sides by 2.23, and you'll get what n is equal to. And I get 1,408.695652. But I did want it rounded to 2 decimal places, so I'm going to round the 6.695652 to 2 decimal places. So the 5 makes it 0.69, round up. So rounding that up would be to 70. Now, some of you are thinking, well, I don't need to write that 0 because that's just an extra 0, but you really want to write it. First off, it tells your reader that you did probably most likely round this answer. And it tells the reader that there's more things to be seen. All right, so let's try a couple more. What is 4% of 75? 4% of 75 is what is, that's my unknown. So I'm gonna call it N is 4%. Write the 4% as a decimal, 0.04 of again means multiplication. So we have N is equal to 0.04 times 75. And in this case, you just need to multiply the 0.04 times 75. You get what N is, and N is 3. All right, let's look at 20 is what percent of 500? So again, I'm gonna start with 20 is, that's an equal. What percent? Call it something, I'll call it P of 500 means multiply. Now that I have that, what I can do is I can divide through by that 500 on both sides and find out what P is. So 20 divided by 500 is P is equal to 0.04. So 0.04 is what P is, but we did want it as percent, so let's actually write that as a percent, 44%.